இந்த மாலை சந்திப்பு அமர்வு கொஞ்சம் வித்தியாசமானது. வழக்கமாக நாம் இலக்கியம், மரபு, வாழ்வியல், அறிவியல் தொடர்பாக நிறைய பேசிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அவற்றிலிருந்து சற்று மாறுபட்டு ஒரு தனிநபரின் வாழ்க்கையை குறித்து அலசுவதாக இந்த அமர்வு அமைந்திருக்கின்றது. இதுல முதல்ல எனக்கு சந்தேகம் என்னன்னா, எவ்வளோ கூட்டங்களுக்கு வந்திருக்கேன், ஆனால் இந்த எச்சியினுடைய பிரசன்டேஷன் ஏன் சித்தன் என்று சாமிநாதன் ஐயா தேர்வு செய்தார் என்பது எனக்கு ஒரு சந்தேகம் உள்ளது. ஒருவேளை ஒரு இலக்கிய பத்திரிகை நடத்தினா இவ்வளவு எக்ஸென்ட்ரிக்கா இருப்பாங்க தெரியல, இருக்கலாம். அதையும் மீறி இந்த அமர்வை குறித்து என்னுடைய உலக தொடர்பாளர்கள் கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 600-700 பேருக்கு நான் மின்னஞ்சல் மூலம் தகவலை அனுப்பினேன். கடந்த 2-3 நாட்களாக வெவ்வேறு விதமான அதற்கான பதிவுகள் எனக்கு திரும்ப கிடைத்தன. அவற்றில் வெவ்வேறு விதமான பதிவுகள் இருந்தன. இவர் ஏன் 20 வருடம் முன்னாலே தற்கொலையை பற்றி சிந்திக்கவில்லை என்று கூட ஒரு முட்டாள்தனமான கேள்வி ஒன்று வந்திருந்தது. வேற ஒருத்தர் கொஞ்சம் நான் என்னுடைய ஒரு தனிப்பட்ட கருத்து என்னன்னா, அது ஒரு சினிக்கல் பார்வையாக இருந்தது. ஏன் காந்தியை போல, ஏன் அன்னை தெரசாவை போல எல்லாம் வாழ முடியாது, இப்படித்தான் வாழணுமா, இது ஒரு வாழ்க்கையா என்ற ஒரு சினிக்கலாக கூட ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு கவிஞர் அவர் கேட்டிருந்தாரு. இப்படியாக பலவிதமான ஃபீட்பேக்குகள் இருந்தது. விட்டீங்கன்னா மொத்தம் இருக்கிறது 1.5 மணி நேரம், அதில் நானே 1 மணி நேரம் எடுத்துக்கொண்டு எச்சிக்கு 15 நிமிடம் கொடுப்பது நியாயமில்லை என்கிற காரணத்தினால் இந்த அமர்வில் ஏராளமான பொருள்கள் பேசுவது குறித்து இருந்தாலும் குறிப்பாக 4 மட்டும் நாங்கள் தேர்வு செய்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். இதுல வந்த மின்னஞ்சல்கள் குறிப்பா பாத்தீங்கன்னா, நான் இந்த வார்த்தைகள் அடிக்கடி வந்து மரபு, இயல்பு. அப்ப எனக்கு கேள்வி வருது, எது இயல்பு, எது மரபு, எது மரபை மீறுவது, மீறுவது என்றால் என்ன, எந்த அளவுக்கு மீறுவது, அது மேல மீறுவா என்ன? இந்த கேள்விகள் தான் வருது. ஒரு உதாரணத்துக்கு சொல்லணும்னா, 1952 குயின் எலிசபெத் பதவிக்கு வருகிறார் என்று நினைக்கிறேன், என்ற நினைவு. அவர் பதவியேற்ற ராணியாக பொறுப்பேற்கும் போது அவருக்காக ஒதுக்கப்பட்டிருந்த அரண்மனை அறையின் ஒரு புறம் ஒரு சிறு உப்பரிகை, அந்த உப்பரிகைக்கு அடுத்தாற்போல் ஒரு நந்தவனம். அந்த காலை வேளையில் ராணியருக்கு ஒரு வழக்கம், அவர் காலையில் காபி கோப்பையுடன் அந்த உப்பரிகையில் சென்று அமர்ந்தது, செய்தித்தாள்களை புரட்டியபடி நந்தவன காற்று வாங்கி கொண்டிருப்பார். அந்த வேளையில் கான்சல்பரி, லண்டன் கான்சல்பரின்னு சொல்லுவார், அந்த கான்ஸ்டபிள் 2 பேர் கான்ஸ்டபிள், நல்ல இடகாத்திரமான 2 கான்ஸ்டபிள்கள் அந்த நந்தவனத்தில் இருந்த கல்லாலான ஒரு பெஞ்ச் போன்ற ஒரு அமைப்பு. அதுல இந்த 2 பேரும் காலையில 7 மணிக்கு உட்கார்ந்தார்கள். சரியாக 1 மணி நேரம் உட்கார்ந்திருப்பார்கள். 8 மணிக்கு எழுந்து போயிடுவாங்க. இந்த ராணி இந்த நிகழ்வை தொடர்ந்து ஒரு 4-5 நாட்களாக பார்த்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்கள் மனதில் இவங்க ஏன் வராது, இந்த 2 பேரும் இவங்க எதுக்கு வந்தாங்க, எதுக்கு இந்த கருத்துள்ள உட்கார்ந்தாங்க, எதுக்கு கல் பெஞ்சில் உட்கார்ந்தாங்க, எதுக்கு எதிர்த்து போனாங்க, இங்க தேவையா, இது யார் ஆரம்பிப்பது? இது வரிசையாக அரண்மனை நிர்வாகியிலிருந்து தொடங்கி சம்பந்தப்பட்ட நிர்வாக அதிகாரிகளிலிருந்து அமைச்சர் வரை சேர்ந்து தோண்டப்பட்ட போது எழுதுவதற்கு முன்னால காதலுக்காக முடிவு கொடுத்தப்போ மகன் ஜார்ஜ் எல்லாம் போய் கிடந்து 1906 விக்டோரியாவில் போய் நிற்குது. அந்த பாட்டியம்மாவனுடைய சரித்திரத்தை அவர்களுடைய ஆணைகள் எல்லாம் புரட்டிய போது அதுல கிடைத்த தகவல் 1900 முன்னால் அவர்கள் ஆட்சி புரிந்த காலத்தில் விக்டோரியா மகாராணிக்கு ஒரு வழக்கம் இருந்தது. இதே நந்தவனத்தில் அவர் காலையில் 1 மணி நேரம் உணவு வழக்கம். அந்த குளிர்காலத்தில் அந்த கல் பெஞ்சில் அவங்க உட்கார்ந்து ஒரு நாள் புள்ளி எழுந்திருந்தாங்க, உட்காரவே முடியல, அவ்வளவு குளிர் சாப்பிடுகிறது, ஜில்லு அப்படியே எழுந்து வச்சுட்டாங்க. அதை கவனித்த அதிகாரிகள் அடுத்த நாள் முதல் ராணி வருவதற்கு 1 மணி நேரம் முன்னால 2 கான்ஸ்டபிள் அங்க உட்கார்ந்து இந்த கல் பெஞ்சை சூடாக்கிட்டு போகணும். அவர்கள் வெதுவெதுப்பாக சூடாகிவிட்ட பெஞ்சில் ராணியார் போய் உட்கார்ந்தார்கள் என்று ஒரு வழக்கம் ஏற்பட்டது என்பதை அத்தனை வருடங்கள் கழித்து எலிசபெத் காலத்தை கண்டுபிடித்தார்கள். இப்படிதான் நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் நிறைய எதுக்காக செய்யணும், ஏன் செய்யணும், இது மரபு. எதனால ஏன் மரபு? இது எதனால வந்தது இதெல்லாம் தெரியாது, கேள்வி கேட்பதே கிடையாது. அப்ப இதுதான் இயல்பு. இயல்புக்கு மீறினா என்கின்றேன். இவ்வாறான பல்வேறு கருத்தியல்கள் இதுல வந்து சூழ்ந்து இவரை குறித்து தகவல்கள் ஏற்கனவே நான் உங்களுக்கு அனுப்பிவிட்ட காரணத்தினால் அதை மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை உங்கள் மத்தியில் வாசிப்பது நேரத்தை தவறாக பயன்படுத்துவதாக அமையும் என்கிற காரணத்தில் அவரை தவிர்த்து நேரடியாக எஜியினுடைய 4 தகவல்கள் குறித்து வரலாம். முதலாவதாக இந்தியாவின் கிழக்கு பகுதியை குறித்து நாம் அதிகமாக, வடகிழக்கு பகுதியை குறித்து நாம் அதிகமாக அறிந்திருக்காத ஒரு காரணம். அவருடைய வெப்சைட்ல பார்த்தவங்க அதை குறித்து வாசித்திருக்கலாம். அது குறித்து இப்போது எஜி அவர்கள் பேசுவார்.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First thing is I must apologize. சித்தன் பேசுற தமிழ் மாதிரி எனக்கு பேச தெரியாது. ஆர்டினரி கொலோக்கியல் தமிழ் தான் எனக்கு தெரியும். But my thinking language is English. So you must pardon me if I talk to you in English. First thing that I'd like to tell you is I'm very happy that I have a friend like Sitaram who comes all the way from Bangalore, Nandi Hills, just to listen to a person like me. I'm honored by every one of you and thankful to Swaminathan and Chitan for having asked me to come here. And before I accepted this invitation, I told Swaminathan, if you call me, there's a wide chance, there's a very great chance that you may be hit, murdered, thrown out of society. He said, Paravala Niva. And that is the reason I am here. Before I start saying anything, I have nothing to teach. I have nothing to preach. I have nothing to pontificate. I have only experiences to share. Those experiences are mine. They are all right for me. I do not expect any one of you to even follow it in the smallest way. It suits me. I do it. It's okay for me. I do not say what I've done is right. I do not say that someone should do it. But what I have done is the only experience that I have. There's one important point which I would like to say about myself before I start one of the 4 topics. In India, we have a law which says that a dead body is the property of the heirs. There is much publicity being given to donation of organs in Indian press, which says that kidneys எல்லாம் donate பண்ணிட்டாங்க. No, the law says that unless he is brain dead and you have the consent of the heirs and the committee certifies that harvesting of the organs can be done after or during removal of the life support systems, only then organs can be donated. I have always wanted to donate my organs on my death to any recipient free of charge when I was alive. I started the case sometime in 1991, and in September 1999, I won the judgment in the Supreme Court that I am allowed to donate my organs on my death to anyone who can receive it. So all parts of a body can be used. There are people who die in the Madras General Hospital because you don't have skin. Burn cases use skin. They use ordinary cadaver skin, dead body skin. It may surprise you to know that today they are using sterilized potato peels. The Bachi Pandra Sivaramala, and the Mari Pandidan, they are treating the patients. Your intestines can be used. Heart valves, even TTK's India-made valve, today costs you 1.25 lakhs. The heart valve can be used, and the heart valve can be removed even 2 days after you are dead. For other organs, there are certain specific times. I want you to go into my website, see the body donation case. Please donate organs while you are alive. It is legal. What you read in the press is misleading. Only if you are brain dead and the Council of Medical Attendants decide that you are kept not capable of being resuscitated, and your heirs grant them the privilege, only then certain of your organs can be removed. But while you are alive, you can always quote my case and get an order from the local high court itself. You need not go up to the Supreme Court. A person can die and 92 pieces of his body can be used. Most people know only kidneys, lungs, no one knows heart, no one knows. There have been a couple of heart transplants done in the past. Kidneys very common, and I would like many people to do that. That's one request. Now coming back to today's topics. One of the topics is Northeast India. Northeast is one of the... Do you need the mic? I think I'm loud enough. Everyone can hear me.
Mic is better if
Better? Okay, no problem.
okay for you.
Now, Northeast India is one of the places where you have a funny system going. When India was handed over by the British government back to the Sovereign Republic, the document said, we give back the Sovereign Republic of India all administered British territories. This is like saying, 1 kilo katrika vaanginaka and 1 kilo da na kudupen. That's what the document says. But when you bought the katrika, that man said you are such a nice person, then extra katrika எடுத்துக்க. That's how India got the northeastern states. The reason being, it was unadministered British territory. The document of return of the country said administered British India, whereas this area was unadministered. That is the reason why Jawaharlal Nehru brought in Northeastern Frontier Agency, NIFA. Even when NIFA was brought, we were in the throes of linguistic separation. Madras Presidency in the 50s became pieces of states in different parts of Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Whereas in those areas, the division of states was not done very perfectly. The forest...
What do you mean by unadministered?
Sorry, one second. Let him finish it off. After that,
Yeah, just note down your points. I'll tell you. Okay, to answer your question first, administered British India had a district collector, and unadministered British India only had a commissioner who acted on behalf of the British government. But there were Dobashas there also. The word comes from Dobasha. He spoke 2 languages. He was an interlocutor. So this particular area, we had this problem about separation, which is again the problem you are seeing with Muwa, who wants to go to his homeland in Manipur. Whereas Nagas are a tribe. They are not a caste. They are a tribe. In that tribe, you have got clans. You have got Konyaks, you have got Aos. Each one is a clan. And the Nagas are spread over Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Myanmar, even some parts of Tibet. And suppose we have Subramanian Swaminathan. He introduces another person called Ramesh Swaminathan. He will just say, meet Ramesh Swaminathan. A Naga will never do it. If he's from the same clan, he will say, meet my brother Ramesh Swaminathan. They are very, very clannish about it. Around 6 years after we got our independence, they found out that the border demarcation of Myanmar and India was not perfectly laid. So Nehru got hold of a British surveyor and asked him to demarcate the hill areas, separating Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh from Myanmar. This man was able to do all the things, but when he came into Nagaland, he could not do anything because the Nagas were spread all over the hillocks, all over the place. So you can't put a line like this anywhere. He came to a place called Lungwa, which is about 40 kilometers from a district headquarters called Mon, M-O-N, in Nagaland. And this man didn't know what to do because the chief of the house in the northeastern states, the chief holds a very important position even today in the year 2010. When the villagers leave the village to the forest in the morning, they tell the chief and go. When they come back with a hunting booty, they tell the chief they have brought something. The chief may say, okay, I'll take this, I'll take that, take the rest, go inside like that. He holds a lot of sway even today. This chief had a house right on the border where they were trying to survey the land. This man, the surveyor, came out with an ingenious thing. He said that the roof of the house is sloped on 2 sides. He ran the international boundary through the center of the roof of the chief's house. The water that falls on the Indian side is India. The water that falls on the Myanmar side is Burma. But the chief by himself owns that piece of house where 1/2 is in India The other half is in Myanmar. If you Google out Arm of Lumbwa, he's a very popular guy on the internet. He lives with 37 women in the same house. He's got 37 wives. And the biggest thing there is alcohol and opium. This fellow is drunk all the time, heavy opium trade, and there is a porous border. It's manned by the Indian Army. We have a fencing too in Lumbwa. It's a long fencing for about 160 kilometers. But it's a porous border. If you are a Naga from Myanmar, Arunachal, India, Nagaland, anywhere, you can walk and come wherever you like at any time of the day or night. But you and I will not be able to go there, even with an inner line permit. You cannot enter Myanmar. So these Naga tribes have got different locations all over these states, and that is the reason why this Mewar problem in Imphal has come now, because his village comes into Manipur state, but he is not a Manipuri. He is a Naga. That's how this problem has started. When I went to see this chief in Lumbwa in November, very rarely do you see him I'll show you some pictures a little later, if we have the time. Very rarely you can see them without alcohol and without opium. We caught him on a nice moment. Whenever someone goes to see him, they gift him something. I gifted him a bottle of rum. Someone comes and gives him a coat, or they'll gift him some chocolate, something like that. I found an aluminum chair which was in his room. I asked him through the interpreter, what is this aluminum chair? He said, one of my opium suppliers brought this from Myanmar and gave it to me. It was a World War II airplane seat without upholstery, military aircraft seat. So I had told this aunt, I'll be coming back in March. When your opium supplier comes the next time somewhere around the 10th or 15th of March, keep him here in Lumbwa for a few days, and I'll be coming with the local MLA to Lumbwa, and I'll come and I'd like to see him. So this time in March when I was there, he had kept that man for 3 weeks, who was very happy to stay, because he is fed by 35 wives and one husband, and he gets 35 different meals of the day. Because in these Naga long houses, every wife is given a separate room, every wife is given a separate hearth, kitchen, open fire. So there are 36 fires burning inside this Naga hut. The last fire is the public area, where you sit with the chief and drink. You can have opium with the chief, and you are a visitor, you are not allowed to go inside these places. And I met this man, I asked him through the interpreter again. This boy is from Bangalore. His father is the MLA of More, but he studied in Bangalore. His wife is from Kodai International School. They are both Nagas, but they live in More. He told me, there's a river I have to cross. I'm 4 days walk inside Myanmar. I bring opium for the chief, I sell it in India. And last 2 times I couldn't cross the river because I'm told that China is building a dam somewhere. This river comes from that side. And the river water has flown on a different direction from what it was last year. I said, yeah, but how does that relate to this chair? He told me I walked in a different route through the forest. There is a metal bird stuck in a hill. And like this, 4 or 5 chairs are available there. I had to give something to the chief. I brought one chair. This is one story about the Naga villages. Basically, the 80% of 85% of Arunachal's cover is forest land. The roads there are very good. India has always given lip service to development in the northeast. We ran a rally in 2004 called the ASEAN Rally from Guwahati to Aceh in Indonesia. That was the first time many people heard about northeast. Even when I was driving on the rally, people used to ask me, Guwahati we know, where is Imphal, where is Tamu, where is More? They don't know anything about it. But right now, tourism potential is very high. Up to a certain point, you can have very good hotels. But if you are willing to rough it out, you can see all the places in the northeast. I'm not a tourist operator or something. I've got a few pictures which I will definitely show you. I'm just cutting short everything because I'm given 1 hour and I want to have 4 topics covered, show you a few pictures also. The second point which Chetan gave me was... Sorry?
You will see the photo, then I will show the picture.
I thought photos because it's all on CD. Okay. It will take some time.
CD is on a video.
Okay, we'll just show the video of perhaps one. This is an introduction to me in 3 minutes.
Let's see that.
Okay. This was done for Roundtable India. This is Kuvagam Festival, which is now very famous. This is 1984. No one knew about it. My wife and I have been inside Kuvagam to shoot it. We have even shot some explicit scenes which you won't see here. It's a sex festival those days. Today it's financed by Rotary Club of Villupuram and Fair and Lovely. There's no voice in. So based on that movie, on our video footage, Santosh Sivan produced Navarasa, which won the Best Feature Film Award for 2005. I did my own role in that movie, 9 Emotions. Santosh Sivan's pet project. This is the ASEAN rally, which went through all the northeastern states. This is Myanmar.
World-class highways from sea level to high mountains.
This is the Shan Hills in Burma.
To densely forested areas. The valley was a unique experience that opened a new road to peace and prosperity for the first time in 50 years.
One of the stops was Kengtung, the capital of the Golden Triangle.
To 1,000-year-old bridges of the
This bridge is built by Jayavarman IV, 1,000 years old. This is a tunnel that goes through the entire range in Vietnam, opened specially for the rally. It is not used for nothing.
And the endurance of the eagles. It created
The Bayam temple in Angkor Wat was used last by the Angkor kings 972 years ago for a public performance. After 972 years, this is the first public performance allowed in the Angkor Wat.
It had all the ingredients of an expedition, right from the recovery vehicles to digital satellite news gathering trucks and state-of-the-art hospitals on wheels. But besides everything, it was a rally to promote friendship in Cambodia, like Mahesh. The rally also rediscovered a unique person in Aichi from Chennai.
It's a village where they harvest venomous Asian tarantula spiders. They fry it and you can eat it. They are not the pet spiders you see in American homes. This is the Asian venomous tarantula.
Eat items, but also described their taste.
These are spiders, which you find them in many places here. But there's one particular village on this highway, and it's the National Highway 6, which is called the name Spiderweb because originally this type of spiders were eaten by those villagers. They do not know how it started, but probably during the Pol Pot regime and the genocide, they were started as food and they dried it up. Now they take the spider couples, put them inside holes in the ground where they breed. Then these spiders are harvested, put in bags and sold in the markets, and you fry them with a little bit of soy sauce and eat them raw. As you know, it has a head, thorax, abdomen. The abdomen sometimes has excrement and eggs, but that is eaten together. You need not remove the excrement because you cannot remove it. It will break up into bits. It's eaten with the excrement, with the eggs, and it tastes good.
This is something which Swaminathan knows about. Someone told me that without your speech, people would have given you a shave on a head. I said, okay, there's an occasion. We'll try it out. And we also want to test whether begging is a profitable profession. It is. This is Sai Baba temple in Mylapore on a Thursday evening.
How much did you make?
Those days must have been about 30 to 40 rupees in half an hour. Worth it.
Not bad. Not bad.
1994.
இந்த முதல் அமர்வில் நாம் வடகிழக்கு மாகாணங்களை குறித்து பேசியதை கேட்டோம். இதில் ஏதாவது உங்களுக்கு சந்தேகங்களோ கேள்விகளோ இருந்தால் இப்பொழுது கேளுங்க. ஓகே சார், அப்படின்னா அடுத்த நகர்வுக்கு, அதாவது பொஹீமியன் லைஃப் ஸ்டைல் என்று ஏசி சொல்லுகிறார். இதுல என்னன்னா, நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே ஒரு அடிப்படை மன ரீதியா நாம் ஏன் அவரை போல இல்லை, அவரை போன்ற வாழ்க்கை ஏன் நமக்கு கிடைக்கல, இப்படியாக ஒருவருடைய மனதில் கொண்டு பார்த்தால் ஒரு ஒப்பீட்டு பார்வையும் அந்த ஒப்பீட்டு பார்வையுடனான அனுபவம் தான் அதிகமாக இருக்கும். ஆனால் இது எல்லாவற்றையும் தவிர்த்துவிட்டு ஆரம்பம் முதலே ஒரு இலக்குடன், இலக்கின்மை என்கிற இலக்கு என்று இவர் சொல்லுவார். அந்த இலக்கின்மை என்கிற இலக்குடன் இப்படித்தான் என்கிற ஒரு பொஹீமியன் வாழ்க்கை, அதை நான் மொழிபெயர்ப்பு பார்த்தபோது ஆடம்பர வாழ்க்கை என்று இருந்தது. அது ஆடம்பரமா என்று எனக்கு தெரியவில்லை. Let him please explain.
The dictionary definition of bohemianism is the practice of unconventional lifestyle, often in the company of people, involving music, art or literary pursuits with never any permanent ties. So it's a floating friendship which is bohemian. Bohemians can be wanderers, adventurers or vagabonds. I'm the last. I'm a vagabond. Now, this is I'll ask them towards the end. I've got some pictures. Then we'll finish this thing. So that I'll tell you verbally what I have pictures of. You take a vote. Some people would like to see this, some people would not. Majority wins. If there's a even percentage, I can make the choice. Okay, coming down to bohemian lifestyle. The neighbor's garden is always greener. Your friend's wife is always better looking than your own. It's human tendency. Therefore, there's nothing bohemian. To a person who's living a very simple life, it may look, a bohemian lifestyle is very adambaram, as Chitan says. But bohemian is not that word. Unconventional lifestyle. Mahatma Gandhi, I think, said that if you must be the change that you want to see yourself. So unless you change, you are not going to see the change yourself. I will not say bohemian lifestyle in a negative connotation. It's a way of living. That's about it. There are people who are satisfied with not doing anything, just getting up in the morning, reading the Hindu, having coffee, having one of the 7 breakfasts of the week, because every day will be the same breakfast, taking the same bus, sitting in the same seat, going to office, doing the same monotonous work, coming back, having the same type of tea, watching the same type of serial. The serial may change, but the theme is the same. Overhearing mothers-in-law beating husbands, all the common threads run through, then have the same food and sleep with the same wife. That life goes on. Nothing wrong in that. He likes it, he does it. There may be another person. He says, I don't eat what I ate on Monday, I don't eat till the next month's first Monday. That's his lifestyle. But the word bohemian I have used is unconventional and it does not have any negative connotation. To lead a lifestyle of that, first thing, your wants, which again melts into my other topic, enoughness of money. Your wants have to be specified. I cannot talk about others, but I can talk about myself. When I decided to go into business and work and earn my living, I was very, very clear that today is the 31st of July, 1971. I started my life as a toilet cleaning supervisor in Sapphire Theatre on a salary of 200 rupees a month. But on that date, the 31st of July 1971, I told myself that the last time I will ever earn money will be on the 31st of July 1991. For that, your wants should be quantified, plus you must be in the habit of saving. Whether it is 200 rupees or 2 million rupees that you earn, 15 to 20% must be saved. The third thing I learned was, again through the Beacomsey family who owns Sapphire Theatre, the old man who gave me my job for 150, 200 rupees a month, gave me a lot of interesting inputs on how to lead life. He said, you may walk. If you can walk, take time to walk. It's good exercise, you're saving money for bus. When you do all this and you find your salary increasing, you'd like to buy a cycle. Don't buy a cycle. Save enough money to buy a new tire every 6 months. Put that money aside, then buy a cycle. Otherwise, you land up with a cycle and a flat tire without treads. No money to buy a new tire, which is what is happening today. If you look around Madras City, all the SUVs you see, SUVs would mean anything above Tata Safari or Scorpio. I'll tell you the reason why they have not taken Vectra and Sumo. There's a reason for that. A literary reason. So anything above that, if you see, you notice three similarities. Number one would be, it will have government allotted registration numbers. You know, 55554444, it sells for 25,000 rupees per number. You have to pay the government. There's no broker for this. Then you have some different numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. It will all have this type of government allotted numbers. Number two, you cannot differentiate the driver from the owner when you look into the car. Number three, you will notice that the car has got extraordinary adornments, something like a tasseled gold embroidered langot.
Like a Pakistani truck.
It will all happen because much of the new money is from people who live around metropolitan towns, A and B grade and C grade towns. It was a revelation to my wife and me that the fourth costliest town in Tamil Nadu is... Any other guesses? Land cost, fourth costliest. Chettinad is the fourth costliest place in Tamil Nadu. So these people are guys who sold lands. The first thing they will do is to go buy SUV. After paying up, the land itself will be a political deal where the local politician has to be paid. Invariably, this car would have been bought by the politician with this person's money. They will be sharing the car, both of them. At the end of 1 year, for a good SUV, you will have to pay 25,000 rupees as insurance. He doesn't have the money because by the end of 1 year, all the money would have gone. Invariably, it will be a HUF where 47.3 people will have to divide the money that comes in. Each one of them will have squandered. The second thing he'll do is go to Tirupati, telling his wife to go to see Venkatachalamati, stay in a hotel there for 3 days. AC ஏன் சரியா இல்லை சரி நல்லா போடு ஒரு 2 bottle brandy வாங்கிட்டு வா. This is how these fellows live. And all the money is lost. So basically, your want should be limited. Then you can attempt all these bohemian lifestyles. This gentleman, Beacomsey, he told me, when you want to buy a house, you must have money to paint the house once in 3 years. First collect money to paint the house, then save money to buy the house. If you do not have money to maintain an item, don't buy that item. That was a very wise thing that he gave me. And the lifestyle part of it, I don't say that I've done something unique. Only thing is, I have never been bothered about what happens to someone else. Everyone is selfish. Right from your political leaders to your religious leaders, the president of UFC, everyone is selfish. Unless you are selfish, you are not going to be ever happy. Only thing is, it's very stylish and fashionable to say, every successful man lives only for himself. But I am vocal about it. I always tell my wife, the ship is sinking, there's only one life jacket. I am not that, I'll wear it and jump. In a given situation, most of you will do the same thing. The few who did not do it were not fast enough. So that come down to brass tacks, that is human nature. You cannot change it. It is as natural as procreate. Grandfathers may want grandchildren, but sex is a natural urge. Animals do it, man does it. The only difference is every living thing in the world has a season to procreate. Man is the only living thing in the world who can procreate 24 hours of the day, 365 days a year. And I think we have done it much better than other parts of the world. So bohemian lifestyle would not mean uncivil living or a different type of living. It would really mean unconventional living. Now what is unconventional? What sort of society says is normal, conventional type of living. What society says is unconventional is bohemian style of living. I do not say this is right, that is wrong, or that is right, this is wrong. But there are two distinct varieties. The basic necessity is you must not think about the days of Mahabharata, or if you just count the number of Buddha's teeth in the temples all over the world. Buddha must have been made of at least 2.5 tons of teeth for so many teeth to be available around the world. Similarly, I find that when you go to all the temples, Rama stood here before he went to Sri Lanka. If Rama stayed in all the places where he is supposed to have stayed, he could not have gone to Sri Lanka because you need 570 years to stay in the places where people say he stayed. Coming down to a very naughty joke, nothing religious about it. The teacher asked, Guru, Ketana, Anil Mela Moon code irke, the wise boy stood up and said, Ramar Godari Sanjadana, study with Munnar Pai, Namari Kirka. I went to Sonana Tapusa, I'm sort of Tapa, say, yes, Tapa Nisola, Sara Umea, Sire Pata, Varikuramari. So there's width to it, there's a fallacy to it. So here, the wants have to be limited. And a bohemian lifestyle does not necessarily have a negative connotation. Most people live bohemian lifestyles when the earlier generation does not accept what you do. And the truest sense of identity and going with the world is a child which says, I like my teacher, and a child which says, I like my parents, and a parent or parents who say, there is nothing I know from a third party about my child that I do not already know. Then I think the transition is smooth. Otherwise, this disparity between அந்த காலத்துல எங்க தாத்தா இருந்த போது ஒரு டிரைவர் மாசத்துக்கு 150 ரூபாய் சம்பளம் வாங்கிட்டு இருந்ததுன்னா ஒரு கிலோ அரிசி இவ்வளவு ரூபாய் கிடைக்கும். We keep hopping on that. But don't forget that man has gone to the moon, and today we are living in the year 2010. What was good for your parents was never good for you. What is good for you will never be good for your children. You have to change. The children will not change. They will be led by the circumstances of life they see in their circle. And that circle decides how they live. Don't forget that Sir Walter Raleigh, when he brought tobacco into England, it was illegal to possess tobacco. You could be hanged for possessing tobacco. Today you can buy marijuana just outside the zoo in Madras. So bohemian lifestyle doesn't have a negative connotation. It is a way of living, and if you enjoy it, do it. The proof of a bohemian lifestyle, as far as I am concerned, in my house we don't have relationship names. Tata, Pati, Appa, Amma. My children call me by first name. My children call my parents by first name. And luckily, I was very fortunate to have my children in J. Krishnamurthy's girls' school, where these type of informal settings, informal first name based business is propagated and promoted. Very few parents like their children calling their teachers by name. When my children joined in girls' school in a small hut in Boys Garden, which is now the Sun TV, Jaya TV office, there out of the 4 or 5 children in the class, not even one child finished the entire 12 years. The peer pressure was among the parents, not among the children. The child knows nothing. December you go to a party, உங்க பையனுக்கு இப்போ எக்ஸாம் நடந்தெல்லாம் முடிச்சிருக்காங்க. ஆமாண்ணா மேத்ஸ் எவ்வளோ வாங்கினா 99.33. 99.33. My daughter got 92.55 only. அவன் tuition master yaar, the mother will run there. I have to bring my son for tuition. So this is the type of competition that the child is seeing. When the child knows that I am in a very informal atmosphere, the growth, according to me, is much better than restricted conditions. I do not say you must bring up a vagabond child. I totally agree that restriction should be there. But restriction should not be at the cost of modernity. Bohemian lifestyle literally means being as unconventional as possible and contemporary at the same time, with no offenses meant to what society considers to be perfect and right. Thank you.
அடுத்த தலைப்பாக இருந்த போதும் பணம் என்னும் குணம் என்பதும் இதிலேயே சேர்ந்திருந்தது ஆல்மோஸ்ட். ஆனா இதுல ஒரு உதாரணம் சொல்றாரு, காட்டை மனதில் கொண்டு மனத்தை கவனிக்காமல் இருக்கிறது.
That is basically an English proverb which I don't think has much relevance. You miss the finer points for the bigger view. Enoughness of money. There are scientific studies. If you have the time, please go through my website. I have put up a scientific study done by an American university. It has been scientifically proved that more money does not mean more happiness after a certain level. When your minimum requirements are met, above that, the returns from earning more money does not equate to the pleasure it gave you before the requirements were met. A man who has no house, he gets a certain pleasure when he is able to afford a small veranda for 25 rupees a month to sleep in the night. But when you come up the grade and you take a bank loan of 1 crore of rupees to build a massive house, you start earning money to repay that loan. That amount of pleasure which you got when you had to pay 25 rupees a month will be more than what you are getting by earning lakhs and lakhs to repay a loan of 1 crore rupees. Again, coming back to selfishness, money is only a very, very rich man who can say, I don't care for money. Everyone needs money. You need it for your own sustenance. You need money to maintain yourself. But if you are going to earn a certain amount of money, you will notice that you spend it for what is visible outside. The reason why cars sell well in India and branded shirts and shoes sell well in India is visibility is high in these products. No one is bothered if you buy a 45,000 rupee TV to keep it in your bedroom. Whereas you would like to spend 35,000 rupees more on your drawing room because very few of your guests are going to your bedroom. Only people are going to see your drawing room. Similarly, there are very few people coming inside your house. More people are going to see what you have bought with your money outside. That is the reason why around the world, watches, cars, glasses, anything that a human being uses which is seen outside sells better. Money is necessary, but money is not the end or the cause of everything. It is necessary. How you make it? Any fool can earn money, but you need a lot of wisdom to enjoy your money. There is no use earning till you are 80. There must be a cut-off point. You must say this much and no more. And enoughness is an ungrammatical word. You will always find a red line coming with your word processor. But I've used the title Enoughness of Money. It won an international internet competition run by BarenCity.com. They gave me $200 for that, which I donated to Nandalala Kidney Foundation. Because as a matter of principle, the last time I earned money by working was on the 31st of July 1991. After that, I have never gone back to do anything, my films or my theatre. Any money that's paid to me, I make it a point to donate to a cause which is near the heart of the people who are like Mani Ratnam. He is very much involved with cancer work because Mahesh, his old music director, died of lung cancer. So all money is money. I repay back into the cancer trust. Santosh Sivan's wife is associated with Nandalala Kidney Foundation. They do dialysis for free people. Money is important. Even I want money. To end it, a man went to Dhirubhai Ambani and said, "It looks like you are very much in need of money." He said, "Why do you say that?" He said, "See, I am a retired school teacher. I don't work. I get up in the morning, I do what I like, and I am quite happy. You seem to be running here and there making money, therefore I think you need money." Bob Dylan had the best to say. The richest man in the world is a person who can get up whenever he wants, go to sleep whenever he wants, and in between do whatever he wants. So according to me and Bob Dylan's philosophy, I think I am the richest person I know. Thank you.
இதுல எனக்கு ஒரு சின்ன சந்தேகம். இந்த பொஹீமியன் லைஃப் ஸ்டைல்ல திருப்தி என்பதை எந்த இடத்துல நீங்க வந்து டிமாண்ட் பண்றீங்க?
ஒரு கத்தியை கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா குழந்தைங்க கையை வெட்டிக்கும். கசாப்பு கடையில் கொடுத்தெல்லாம் மீட்டை அரைப்பாங்க. மீன்காரங்கிட்ட கொடுத்தா மீனை வெட்டி கொடுப்போம். கொலைகாரங்கிட்ட கொடுத்தா கொலை பண்ணுவோம். பட் 5 பேர்கிட்ட இருக்கிறதும் அதே கத்தி தான். I hope it answers your question.
அடுத்ததாக ஒரு சர்ச்சைக்குரிய ஒரு கான்ட்ரோவர்ஷியல் சப்ஜெக்ட். குழந்தைகளை மோசமாகவும் தவறாகவும் நடத்துபவர்கள் பெற்றோர்களும் ஆசிரியர்களும் என்கிற பொருளில் எஞ்சியிருக்கிறது.
This again is my personal observation. I cast no aspersions on any human being or any education institution. They are my personal views. One swallow does not make a summer. I have my views only for myself. Please don't ask me questions on the rightness or wrongness of it. It could be right or it could be wrong, but that is my view. You want me to give you a tall story, I can give a tall story, but I'm just being frank. The more educated you are, the less you will earn unless you are in academics. Think about it. In 2010, the more educated you are, the less money you will earn unless you are in academics. Unfortunately, in India, academics does not pay much. Even IIT salaries are rather low compared to what American universities pay. That is my view. Schooling teaches you social interaction. It's impossible to bring up a child at home with home tuition. With home tuition, it is better the child does go to school because it teaches social interaction. But just because some child is first class first doesn't make that child any better than a child that is 4 subjects failed out of 6 subjects. Next, take your email IDs from your computer. Sit back one day, find out how all these people were in school or college. You'll find that people who sat in the car park, smoked beedies with the driver, cut classes, they have always done better. Now the question comes, what is being better in life? Better in life is not terms of money or having a visiting card that says president of this company or vice president of that company. A person who is happy, absolutely happy with himself. I have a feeling that in my own instance, I have done a statistical survey of people of my email contacts. Most of the guys whom we always thought, this fellow is fit for nothing. He is only fit to sit in the car park and chew bubble gum or gilli danda. All of them have somehow made the grade. When I was talking about this, I was reminded about Indonesian coconut plantations. In Indonesia, they use trained monkeys to pluck coconuts. But these monkeys are specialist monkeys. They have a rope around their waist and they are sent up the trees. The monkey is a specialist in putting salt. It will bend the pond of the palm tree. ஓலையை மடிக்கும், உப்பு வைக்கும். இன்னொரு குரங்கு வந்து கொப்பர தேங்காவை முத்தின தேங்காவை முட்டை எடுக்கும். இன்னொரு குரங்கு இளநீர் முட்டை எடுக்கும். இன்னொரு குரங்கு வந்து ஓலையை காலால உடைச்சு இருக்கும். All these are specialist monkeys. Human beings don't do that job. They are all trained with a leaf rope there and the trainer stands at the bottom. It will jump from one tree to the other. Next tree it will go and start doing the same job. So my theory is, if you can teach, and one education is confirmed with me, if you can teach monkeys to do such specialized job, it is very easy to teach a dull-headed child to pass a 12th standard examination by mugging up the whole thing in rote, vomiting it over there, coming home, having a nice brush of the teeth, having a bath, forgetting all they have learned. but you can never teach a child to be street smart. Today, being street smart decides whether you are going to be up the social ladder or not. No one is bothered whether you came first class first for 25 years. We have come to the American system where no one is going to ask you your sex, male or female, doesn't matter. Number two, what is your education? Doesn't matter. What is your caste or creed? Doesn't matter. Which place are you from? Doesn't matter. What does the employer say? I want a person, they don't ask you for age also. The employer says, I want a person who has these capacities and abilities. If you are one of them, come and see me. But the opposite is also there. The days of having permanency in jobs is also losing its shine. There was a recent problem with Hyundai in Madras. I do not know if it came in the press. There was a little bit of labor unrest with the union. A huge conglomerate like Hyundai, just the president gave one line. He told a few of those union leaders, no problem. 30 days, we will dismantle this plant and shift it back to Korea. Nothing happened. I don't think the death was also reported. The stage has come for that. So, children, education is important, but it is the way they are educated. The London cab driver cannot be expected, or the Madras auto rickshaw driver, unless he is an owner driver, will not love his auto rickshaw. If I take my car to the club, I look at the trees because at night, all the birds come home to the trees. By the time you go to the bar, have a drink and come, your car will be full of dogs, bird shit. So I make sure that there's no tree above my car when I park the car. If I give it to a driver, he's not bothered. He goes, parks the car and walks away and waits for the call and then comes to pick up the car. I don't expect a school teacher who gets up in the morning. Tamil cinema, Nagesh சொல்றா, அப்பா 1000 பொன்காசு வந்தா முதல்ல அந்த பால்கார கணக்கு கத்துக்கணும். That is the type of person you are getting as a school teacher. What love will she have for a child? Whereas the person who is going to be from the highest strata of society, unless they are totally dedicated to do human service in the cause of education, and they feel that what I have learned I must give to the next generation, they are not going to work. So here teachers are a big problem. Again, you can still go into my site. You will find a very well discussed letter written by me to the principal of Church Park Convent. This letter is being analyzed and studied by the Old Boys Association of Vidya Mandir, Chennai, settled in USA. They are all, some of them are in universities as professors and things. They are studying a letter I wrote to the principal of Church Park many years ago, must be more than 20 years ago, that is being studied by these groups. The file name is Anita, A-N-I-T-A. It is there on my website. And the parents come again. Most parents, the problem, as I told earlier, is peer pressure among the parents. It is not the peer pressure among the children. They don't know anything. The peer pressure starts when the father or mother wants a cricketer's son or a Bharatanatyam daughter. That's or a tennis daughter or a tennis son. That's where the problem starts. Maybe we are too modern today, but when I was a youngster, when a lady from a decent family says, I would like to learn Bharatanatyam dancing, there were very few mothers who allowed them to learn. That's why you will find that all the heroines in the Hindi world and some of the actresses from the south were not from the well-established communities and class. It was infra-dict to be known as a dancer, but today things are changing. But the mother keeps it in her mind. She has got a daughter who is interested only in tennis, but she has got 4 left legs and 3 right legs. She can never dance. The mother will force this girl to become a dancer because she could not become a dancer. The second type is the tennis fathers. You pick up the child from school, the tiffin is given in the car, take him to the tennis class, finish the tennis class, have a wash in the shower there, the bunion is changed in the car, take him to tuition, sit there, get the tuition done. In the meantime, father has a walk, comes back, the child is brought back, then the mother starts. In the class, then book homework then the Raghu Appa Amma Amma Raghu Ashna school Shilpa and I'm Mrs. So and so president. Homework class Now the child starts suspecting the mother. I am telling my mother and she says, I call someone and check. Therefore, what is the fun in my telling the truth? Then the weekend comes. You have a motley crowd of students where there may be some bohemian parents, children also there. So those groups, you'll always find small cliques in all these classes. There'll be one group which has this bohemian lifestyle things. The parents don't mind taking the child to a party or to a discotheque or somewhere. Basically, this child overhears. This child is never let out of the house without parents even on a Sunday. Now this child listens to all this, and next sometime on a Monday, when someone asks the child, what did you do on Sunday? This child learns how to tell lies. I went to a discotheque. It repeats exactly what it has heard. It has never been to a discotheque, but it knows that it is something which I aspire to do, much like the myth of watching a television serial or a movie. Fantasy always pays. You pay and watch what you aspire to be or do, which you normally cannot do. If the films, every film was a Jayakanthan film, no one would go to theatres, because Jayakanthan's films portray the truth. Even Jayakanthan had a problem with Chiranjeevan. He has never said on whom it is based, but he has said, I know the person. So parents have a lot of role to play. Many children's lives are curved and they become a mess because of parents. So that is my view, that if you had better teachers and better parents, you'll always have better children. And lastly, anything caged will always try to run. I am a rally driver. I live half my lifetime in a hotel room or on the roads. Next time you travel on a highway, please watch a village dog. That dog was born in that village. It was born on that road. When you press the horn, it can judge by audio sensors and by eyesight the speed at which the car is coming, and very beautifully move away, and you pass the dog. You take your dog and leave it on the road. The first car that comes that side will kill the dog. Same thing with children. And you can teach geography, history, arithmetic, anything to a child, but you can never teach a human being how to become street smart. But again, within limits of social conscience, like religions, all religions tell you, don't thief, don't tell lies, don't do anything which is supposed to degrade your status, to annoy another human being, do not commit murder, everything. All religions say the same thing. It may be in different words. But the wise man said, always follow the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not get caught. Enjoy life. Live, don't exist. Any questions, you're welcome to ask. If you are free to see some pictures, I can show you. Now, I'll tell you what I had. About 20 days ago, in the tribal villages of Arunachal Pradesh, you have the village priests. They believe so much in voodoo in Nagaland, these areas, small villages. You have a village priest and anything wrong happens in the house, they do sacrifices. A very big calamity could mean a sacrifice of a mithun. A mithun is an Indian goat. It looks like a bison, but it will be yellow and white. And it is the 4th largest land animal after the elephant, hippopotamus and rhino. The whale is not included. For land animals, the mithun is the 4th biggest. You have a sacrifice for mithun. You have dogs that are sacrificed. You have hens that are sacrificed. Small problem, a cold which never goes. You will have a rat that is sacrificed. I shot one by accident. I was able to go to a village. It's a typical Arunachal village where there is a priest. And he holds a lot of power because nothing happens without his saying. Even harvest dates are announced by the priest. He does a dog sacrifice. I've got some more pictures of Northeast. You're welcome to see it if you like. Thank you. See, he is the priest. What he is carrying in his hand, these are all the necessities for a ritual. They are all made from again food or anything local. Why do these people eat bamboo? Because it grows there. Food is a sociological habit. Food again is a sociological habit. In Kerala they take fish, not because they have to grow the fish, but for aeons they've been living at that place. Bamboo, fibers from wheat, fibers from rice plants, all these are things that they carry for doing the ritual. We can make it fast so that because it's a... Hello. His son will become the priest. His father was the priest. It's hereditary. Okay, அப்ப டைம் ஆகும். அப்ப ஒன்று பண்ணுங்க, just fast forward போட்டாக்க
இல்ல வரும்
Okay. அப்ப விட்டுருங்க, it'll take a lot of time.
வரும்.
See, this is a Nishi tribal. They have this tuft here. What you see going through the tuft is a porcupine quill. See, this is the common area. It's called the village bamboo grove. It belongs to the entire village. You cannot cut bamboo whenever you like. There is a certain date from which you can cut up to a certain date. These are all the symbols of the rituals. That was a dog sacrifice.
What do you mean by dog sacrifice?
The priest decides how grave the situation is. The priest decides how grave the situation is. Here, the person from the village who asked this priest to do a sacrifice, he had a mother who could not even get up. From the sound she was making, I knew that she had a very serious lung infection. But they don't believe in all that. He called the priest. The priest said, you must have a dog sacrifice. So this is the dog sacrifice. He brings a dog, and every guy in those 7 states, not Assam, in the other 6 states, they have a knife which they carry just like we carry pens. Everyone will have it. He'll be in a suit. He'll come to the club. He'll come to the Digurgar club, but he'll wear the Dhao, Dhao. He'll always wear it. It's a full job assigned to the priest, 1,000 rupees. Each Bithun will cost about 25,000-30,000 rupees. Yeah, the whole CD is only the ritual. Yeah, fast up and just show the sacrifice part of it. I think it will be very slow. Thumbnails
viewல போயிட்டு.
Yeah. Next photo. You're going back, I think.
Forward. Yeah, next. Just wait for a second. No, wait.
My driver refused to attend that. He is a local. He said, it's ill omen. I won't come there. Fast forward. I tell you the correct way. 2 or 3 pictures you must see.
அதுல மேல போய் வியூல போயிட்டு thumbnail போடுங்க.
Yeah. 261516. Yeah. 2758 ல ஆரம்பிங்க. அதுல ஆரம்பிங்க.
மேஜிக் நம்பர்
இல்ல. Next. What you see there is a cow, hen already in the Congo touch. Yeah, this is the dog. They are building a fire. Next. Next. This is how it's a hen.
And each clan has its own god, or what is it?
Yes. This is the sacrifice. Next. That is a dog. Next.
After that, do they eat the animal?
Yes.
Dog also eats.
Yes. I also ate.
Right, that is.
See, to us it may look grotesque, but that is part of their culture. If any of you go to the US, just tell someone in the US that you drink buffalo's milk. Unless he's a GI from Southeast Asia, he won't believe you. Because most Americans think that milk comes from factories in Tetra Packs. They don't even know the cows give it. The few who know it think it's only the Jersey cows that will give milk. They won't believe you when you say, I drink buffalo's milk. That is roasted separately. It is taken to the village chief's house, the head.
இப்ப ட்ரெடிஷனல் ஆயிடுச்சு.
They wear traditional dresses. They all have cell phones. Signals irukadu. எங்கேயாவது போகும்போது the signal tower கிட்ட போகும்போது when he gets a signal, he'll make 25 calls, 30 calls standing there. இல்ல அவங்க இப்ப என்னோட head he is wearing a underground military dress. Some underground outfit has given him the dress. Well, those boys are from my friends from Itanagar. They don't belong to the place. Priest alone belongs there. This is our assistant, the person who is doing all this. But I've got pictures nariya irukku. Traditional people. I'll show you some pictures. Apatani or a tribe irukku. The nose will be broad. They will be wearing wooden saucer mari inga teacup irukku. And the mari it will be there. See, this is over. Yeah, we can go back. That's all. The dog is killed, it is roasted, and it is eaten. Yeah, I think Apatani is here. Village again. So even the priest, the headgear that he is wearing, that is traditional. That is Nishi. N-Y-I-S-H-I. That's the tribe's name. Nishi tribes are there. அவ்வளவுதான். அதுக்கு ஒரு நம்ம ஒன்று பண்ணலாம். இதில் சும்மா போடுங்க. We'll just see. I'll show you a few Apatani pictures. That's a very interesting thing. Yeah, Apatani. Hong village. Apatani. Hong village. This is a typical Apatani village.
You can watch. Whatever.
This is a wine pot. That's where they keep their wine. Open it.
Wine pot.
Wine pot. All the wine is made from rice and also a husk. This is a dao. This is how Christianity comes in. But just like our Shastra Kuladaivam, Christianity is only 25 to 30 years old in Arunachal Pradesh. They allowed them to follow their Shastra Koil, which is called Donipolo, D-O-N-I-P-O-L-O, which literally means sun and moon. All the tribes which you see in the northeast originated from one place in the Tibetan plateau. They came to a place called Riga, R-I-G-A, a village in Arunachal Pradesh near the Chinese border. From there, they split. This modernity, you're talking about dresses, idallam kuda modern now. Some of the houses has a dish TV. Yeah, I think we'll close this and open the index. Back. And arms. Every village has got a gunsmith. See, in Kur, you must declare that you are a citizen of Kudagu, where you will be automatically granted a license to possess firearms. In Northeast, excepting Assam, it's not like that. Every village, every tribal village has a native gunsmith. He makes the guns. And an AK-47 costs you about 12,500 rupees. I'll show you one. And the hunter, I put there. This man, you'll see in the picture, he's a government servant from the forest department.
Open.
Look at that rifle. It is a Czechoslovakian telescope-loaded rifle that can shoot at a range of nearly quarter kilometer. And I saw through the viewfinder, he was showing me bears eating honey. You can see the drops of honey through the telescope. Such a beautiful piece of weapon. And I asked him, how did you get it? He said that since I work for the forest department, one of the underground groups in Nagaland, they were camping here, and I looked after them. In gratitude, they gave me the rifle. I said, how did you get the telescope? He said, when I went to Guwahati, I went to an arms dealer and purchased the Czechoslovakian telescope. He is by himself a forest department guy, but the law there says that you can hunt whatever you want. There is nothing available for you to hunt excepting rats and victims. Everything else has been finished. I'll show you something else which is interesting before people get a little bored. November, I went to look, the cartridge and the bullet. This is a commercially made rifle. Whereas all the villages have blacksmiths. They make these rifles and sell it there itself. The cost of that rifle is about 2,500 rupees. They make revolvers. Yeah, index poninganaka. In November, I went to one chief's house in Nagaland, and that day they had killed a leopard. November 2009. Index. So I went to the chief's house, and someone in the village had killed a leopard. And as is the custom with them, yeah, opium wood. I'll first show you the opium preparation. Faster movement. The first water is heated in the small vessel. First time open line, it's a continuous shot. This is the opium that comes from Myanmar. Boiling water, he presses it, puts it in and presses, dissolves it. Again he will heat it. The man with the blue chain on below his knee, he is the chief of Lumbo. If you go to him out, you will find some interesting articles by foreigners. He's a very popular army. Half his house is in Myanmar, half his house is in India. He is the chief. His father was the chief, his son will become the chief. This is a type of grass, white grass that grows there. They chop it into small pieces and he's adding it with the diluted mixture which is heated. The grass has no smell, no taste, nothing. It's actually எண்ணெய் விளக்கல வந்து திரி வைக்கிறாப்ல ஏதாவது இருந்தா தானே எரியும். அதுதான் they use the grass. It has no medicinal value, no hallucinogenic value, nothing. It is the medium into which the opium goes. He mixes all that.
Making it for himself or to share?
He's the
entire clan.
assistant for the chief, but first the chief will have it, then he'll pass it on. I have never tried it, my friend tried it.
Why did you not try it, given the fact that you try almost everything?
The reason is that I have to try it. And we are in unknown territory. We don't know where we are. He is the chief. This is the bamboo pipe. It has got water inside. He smokes the opium and drinks black tea. They call it lal chai. They don't say black tea. They say red tea. He is 37. Can you believe it? He looks so old because drunk all the time, high on opium all the time. Yeah, this is my friend. உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமே ஹரி சரவணன். அவன் தான் ஓபியம் குடிச்சிட்டு இருக்கான். Earlier இதுக்கு போங்க. This is a skull mound. Till 1986 is the last recorded evidence of head hunting in the northeastern states. Every village has two skull mounds. One is for enemy skulls. The other is for the skulls of people who die in their village. It is just brought there and the mound keeps growing and growing and growing. The government of India and the state governments, because of the church, propagated the idea that you must not have skulls. So all these skull mounds were covered with sand. I have a couple of skull mounds that I made them open. You can still see the skulls. This is a skull mound. இதெல்லாம் ஹீரோ ஸ்டோன்ஸ். பரவாயில்ல ஃப்ரெண்டுக்கு போங்க. இண்டெக்ஸுக்கு போங்க. ரேண்டம் பிக்சர்ஸ் போங்க. That is me eating a scorpion. Next போங்க. Reversal வந்திருக்கு. This is taken now 4 weeks ago. What you see is the leopard skin. I will take you backwards and show the leopard skin the day it was shot. What happens is they bring the leopard skin and it is given to the king, the arm. Leopards, all felines are never taken directly to the houses. It's always left to the arm. He has an open Naga fireplace. It has got different shelves, different heights. It is placed in the first level and it is smoked because Naga fires burn 24 hours of the day. It has got 2 or 3 uses. Number one is they are always on opium or tea or eating. Second thing is all the meats are kept on the first shelf where it is smoked by the fire. As the smoking increases, softens the meat, it is raised 1 tier. So if you go to the top tier, it is well smoked meat which will last you for 1 or 2 years. So in November, The last picture was what I saw, where the leopard was shot and brought there, given to the arm. It has been, pieces of it has been removed, he will give it to his guests, or he will eat himself, or they'll have a party. And ultimately last time when I went, only the skin was left, which has turned black, because it has been kept there for the last 4 months, 5 months. Idella had been taken 2 weeks ago. He is a gun maker. This is a raw gun, not even varnished yet. Half-made gun. See, skull mount. I made them open the skull mount and show it to you. This is a chair made out of elephant bones. This is taken, date pathakanda, 10/11/2009. At 1:30 in the afternoon, I shot it. That morning only, you can see the bullet mark also. That morning only they brought the animal, they removed the skin and the meat was put onto the shelf over there and they covered it with the skin. After 4 months is what you saw now. The same arms house. Next one. Yeah, this is a ship that we hired in November on the Brahmaputra. Inside of the ship. This is a mustard field in the Brahmaputra valleys. Acres and acres and acres of this you will see. Is it Oral? Naga Oral. Not Naga, this is missing. M-I-S-I-N-G. Mi means water, Sing means people. They are known as water people because the villages are always beside a water bottle. And they shift villages. 300 people will be in a village. In 2 weeks' time, they will be in some other location. Whole village is shifted. This is because the pig is right there, as I told you, both for toilet purposes and for eating. All the houses will have a place where you step over and go. All the edges, the fences, thresholds, all the thresholds will have it. And it will be narrow. These pigs have that stick because they cannot enter the house. Okay. This is the Ami. That's a missing lady. This girl is in medical college in Guwahati. She's a missing driver. Are missing Disha sun solar panels. This is a wine pot. This is a bird's house with a door. They put the birds who go inside, they put the door. They also use it as a trap. This is the material they make, missing material. This is a temporary island on the Brahmaputra. The silting is so heavy in the Brahmaputra that suddenly islands will form. So here these people are setting up a bar and a barbecue for my friends on the ship. They draw electric wires, they are anchoring the ship to this temporary island. So you bring everything, have a party there, go to sleep. And next morning when you get up and look out of the window, there is no island. This is the traditional Bomtilla Tawang area tribal. What is wearing on his head is a traditional tribal headgear particular to this clan and this group. Each clan has got its own headgear, dresses, everything. That beak is a hornbill beak. Now there are no hornbills at all. One NGO is now making fiberglass hornbill beaks and supplying it to them. Because there are no more hornbills left. Iruvasi. This is a zoo. Many people think that if a mule, pack horses in Solomon. They are a cross between a donkey and a horse, but they are sterile. This is a cross between a buffalo and a yak. It's called a zoo, D-Z-O. It's against their act. They can't reproduce. This is Sela Park, one of the highest motorable parks of Arunachal Pradesh. This is a Chinese grove. This is a Chinese grove. Red beaks, red feet, and the coin also will be a little like a parrot, not like a kaka, but a Chinese grove. These are landslides that occur very periodically, but all the roads up to the China border are BRO, Border Road Organizations, and most of them are Sardarjis or Tamilians who work in BRO. This is a Mithun. It is an Indian hybrid cow. That's the technical name. And this one is the fourth largest land-living animal in the world. It's wild, but they are more like Mudumalai elephants. Mudumalai elephants are not the same as the elephants you see in Zimbabwe or in Swaziland. Those elephants are real wild. There may be an elephant that has lived for 60 years that has never seen a car or a human being other than the local bushman. A new man it would never have seen. But Mudumalai elephants see human beings, buses every day. So these Mithuns are very much the same. They are domesticated naturally. They live in the wild, but they know human beings, they know cars, they know buses. And also, this is a nice thing. Earlier in Kumbha, vehicle drivers be alert. Vehicle lifters can snatch away vehicle using drugs or pistols. You will find all over the hills this board at different places. You stop your car, some fellow will come from behind the tree, point a gun at you. All he wants is only your car. Lorries are hijacked. They never hijack people unless you are very important. That's it. I think we have seen enough. Now we'll just have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
About Christianity,
Yeah.
you said it is just 20 or 30 years old there.
No. More than that.
No, that's what it is. More than 100 years.
20-30 years of organized Christianity.
Right from 1800.
Yes.
That's
1830s,
Very
1840s.
Elvin and all those.
Yeah, people have been there. But today, Nagaland wants prohibition scrapped. The reason is Dimapur, which is in the border of Assam and Nagaland, the excise earnings that they lose to Assam per month by legal tipplers. That is, that is Assam, this is Nagaland. You go there, sit and drink, come this side and have Assamese food. The excise is 410 crores they are losing every year. Just by people walking across and drinking and coming. They want prohibition scrapped, but the church will not allow it to be scrapped. The church is extremely powerful.
Then this opium trade,
Yeah.
is it not something that has been brought from China?
Opium was in China was different. But this opium trade, I have been seeing it for quite some time now. Generations of people dealing in opium are coming in to give it. And I am sure that the arm of all these border villages get a cut out of the whole thing, including the Indian Army and Assam Rifles 33. They are the people who maintain that area. Everyone is getting a cut. That is my view. I have not seen anyone take a bribe, but opium is so freely available. For example, in a missing village, you can get 50 rupees of marijuana, which will be worth about $500 to $600 in New York City. 50 rupees kurtaka, he'll ask you, do you have gunny bags? Take 5 bags, 6 bags, you can take and go. It's so freely available. Similarly with opium in the Myanmar border. And one thing I'm again sure, no opium goes from this side into Myanmar. All opium is coming into India.
From China, 2 or 3 centuries ago it was traveled.
Opium war, I don't know much about it. But here it's
Who's sending opium there? Not that they were.
I don't know much about the opium war.
British produced opium to sell in China. It was to sell to China, to Chinese.
Might have been opium and
In Myanmar, I saw something interesting. சின்ன வெத்தலை புட்டி மாதிரி வச்சிருக்காங்க. They have got a poisonous snake inside. இது வந்து just like your question, why is he dressed in modern dress? Nowadays, finding a person with அப்பத்தானி picture மட்டும் உங்களுக்கு காட்டுறேன். Finding a person with modern dress is usual, but finding a person with old type of dress is very rare. Therefore, similarly, you will find that the people, old timers, still smoke opium. But there is one thing which the youngsters are learning to do. Youngsters are also smoking opium. The other thing is logging. Extensive logging is happening, but they use byroads. You've got regular unpaved highways running for thousands of kilometers inside jungles of Nagaland, jungles of Arunachal Pradesh. It will join the highway at a very what do I say? Very ordinary point. It will not look, it will look like the entrance to a house. But through that, you get the logging carts coming right from Arunachal North, right down to Assam. Logging is another big business. Opium is another big business. The last being marijuana. Marijuana is now prevalent. Stone Village, Hong Village. Yes, 2242, second road. That is an Apatani lady. The nose is covered with a 5 rupee coin like wooden piece. But when she is small, it will be tiny, Kundamani size. The hole is made bigger and bigger and bigger. She will also have a namam, a tattoo. The reason is, there are so many tribes there that for these people, the neighboring country is not the enemy. The next tribe is the enemy. So even recently, 5-6 years ago, there were tribal warfares. Even today there are tribal warfares in very remote areas. These styles were adopted for the people to identify their women when they are captured and taken by another tribe. Because the other tribe will not have this, will not have the namam. They will have 2 lines here and they will have a bamboo through the ear. That will be another tribe. So this is a typical Apatani woman. Nowadays the girls and boys don't wear do this. You can go anywhere with inner line permit as long as you are an Indian. For foreigners you must be in a minimum group of 4. But even an inner line permit does not guarantee you anything. You must know 3 types of people there. You must know someone in the underground, you must know a priest, or you must know a local tribal leader. Sorry? Inner line permit is a permit which every Indian has to take, every foreigner has to take, but the rules are different to enter the area above the north of Brahmaputra. South bank you can go to Jorhat, you can go anywhere. But on the north bank, if you want to go above 100 miles, not 100 miles, 50 to 70 miles as the crow flies, there the inner line comes. If you take the highway, before Dimapur itself, there will be a checkpoint. As an Indian, you must have an inner line permit. But most people don't take a permit. But that can get you into trouble also. And it's not a big deal. Any place you can go. You can go to Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, to the local government office, if the Assam government or Nagaland government has a bhavan there, and get it. Otherwise, you can get it at the last point of entry. Suppose you're going to Guwahati, you can buy it in Guwahati. Or you go to Dimapur, you can buy it in Dimapur also. In 10 minutes they'll give you. They need 3 photographs and 1 proof. License, driving license, ration card, voter's ID or PAN card, that's all. Sorry? It is ejji.4t.com. I'll give my card.
We think of, generally think of urban multinational corporations or governments or
city-based people as fairly ignorant of the environmental situation, species destruction, and things like that. What you are saying is that the tribals are doing a very good job.
Wonderful job, better than any city developer.
So what is that? Poaching is their lifestyle. It is not
And also, they have a slash and burn tradition. Each tribe has got its own slash and burn cycle. For example, one tribe will go up the mountains, they'll slash and burn one set, they'll cut down 15-year-old trees, make all the cultivable land, then the undergrowth will be burnt. Then they move their village into that area and they start cultivating. They finish the harvest, they leave that, move to the next area. They take 5 years to come back here. In that 5 years, the trees have already grown there. Sorry, June cultivation, absolutely. But each tribe has got a different cycle. There are some tribes that come and stay there for 6 years, 7 years at a stretch. But the next village, they may stay only for 5 to 6 years. The reason is the fertility of the soil decides how long you're going to stay there. The tribe that uses one place only once in 5 years, fertility doesn't matter. Anyway, he's moving on. But if one tribe is staying there for 5 years, that soil is going to be fertile for 5 years. 6th year, the rewards are not much. He moves out. He may come back there after about 15 years. And the pattern, as I told you, in Arunachal, everyone works. Children, men, women, everyone. In Assam, male and female both go to work. Near literacy of 100% school attendance. In Nagaland, only women work. The men sit at home, drink, have a nice time. No man we went to a resort and for our friends from the US, there are associations of American Museum people who were with us, all friends. We had hired 6 boys from the catering college, Jorhat, to come and handle the kitchen service for 2 days and 2 nights. Before we left, those local men and women, Naga men and women, were asking me, "You really mean to tell me that in big towns, males work?" I said, "There are no females in any 5-star hotel kitchen." "What is 5-star? I said, "Big hotels." "Oh, no woman works." I said, "No woman, only all the kitchens in 5-star hotels are handled by men." They thought I was pulling a big one. They won't believe me. But for them, seeing 6 boys from Assam come to Nagaland, all in pants and shirt and talking in a little bit of English and working, was a culture shock. Aamblanga verik povana.
Who's doing all the logging?
It's a mafia, just like this. See, the beauty about Assam is we've got different divisions, different undergrounds, but everyone is not recognized. The government does not recognize most of these groups. For example, Bodoland. It is there. The demand for a Bodoland is there. Or Karpi Abalong hills near Kaziranga. They are all different groups. You know, everyone they want this area to be a separate country. Nothing will happen. In Assam, the government recognizes 2 or 3 groups for talks. One is Ulfa. In Ulfa, you have a thing called Salfa. That is surrendered Ulfa. In Salfa, you got another thing called Ulfa. Reformed Ulfa. They are used by the Home Ministry, by the government of Assam, and by the Ulfa for deals and demands. But you cannot do any work in the states of Northeast in a large scale unless you pay the underground. 7% of the basic salary of all government employees in Assam is reduced by the government and distributed to 6 underground groups. In Nagaland, they have no problem. There are 3 groups recognized. One of them is Muwa, who does not live in India, he lives in Amsterdam. The other 2 guys, one lives in Mandalay and the 3rd fellow in Bangkok. They are on chummy terms with the government of India, no problems at all. They want their cut of everything. The government itself pays them to keep quiet. In Manipur, the problem is they have 52 groups. So the first group stops you, you are in this dress, you are an Indian, When you enter Manipur, you must be in Manipuri dress. Sorry sir, I'll pay fine, 100 rupees fine. Okay, go and buy one Manipuri dress and change. She changes into Manipuri dress. 100 kilometers down, another group will stop us. You are in Manipuri dress. Wrong. There is nothing called Manipur. It's all India. You must be in Indian dress. Shall I wear salwar kameez? No, that is Muslim. You are Hindu. You must wear Hindu dress. Sorry sir, give me 150 rupees. This is the problem in Manipur. You can never travel by road anywhere. Secondly, in Nagaland, there are 5 road entry points to Nagaland. In all the entry points, as soon as you enter Nagaland, there will be a huge marble slab, granite slab. In curved letters it will be put, welcome to Nagaland. In straight letters it will be put, Nagas are not Indians. Every entry point will have. And even youngsters, my friend, he's an MLA's son, Bangalore boy, convent educated, college educated. When he talks to me, he says, that Indian chap whom we met yesterday. That's what he talks, that Indian chap we met yesterday. I mean, it's natural to them. For him, only Nagas are Nagas. Anyone else is an Indian.
Kashmir also. In India.
I've never been to Kashmir. மோரேல வந்து தமிழர்கள் மெதுவா வர ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. நான் மோரேக்கு போனது ஒரே ஒரு தடவை தான், courtesy மன்மோகன் சிங். ASEAN rally went through Moreh Tammu. Mondays, every first Monday of the month, Moreh and Tammu is porous. The traders in Tammu and more in Moreh, less in Tammu, are from Ramnad and Nadars, cities and all these people. All the trade is only run by them. But now what has happened is, on the Burmese side, the Tammu side, it's only one bridge about the gate. That bridge divides India and Myanmar. This side is India, that side is Myanmar. They have put a huge market on the Tammu side, which sells you Chinese goods. India can never match with that. So recently when I went to Moreh, 2004 நான் பார்த்த கடைகள்ல பாதி கடைகள் கிடையாது. But Moreh and Tammu, forest border every first Monday. You can go, you can sign the register, but it's such a small place that the army, both the armies know who you are. And you can't escape and go somewhere and run away. And secondly, you can't do a damn thing in Myanmar. Chances the Myanmaris will come this side, that's all. But it's more underground, sleazy, drinking, brothel. And all the businesses are run by Tamils. You can actually walk on the road and talk in Tamil, and some fellow looking like a Burmese will answer you in Tamil. Sorry? Yeah, Chettiars. But there is another interesting Chettiar Madam in Rangoon. This Madam has got a Murugan temple in the first floor. Next to the Murugan temple, in the Chettiar Madam, there is a long box. Huge camphor wood box. It has got about 7 or 8 combination locks. Each lock will open with 6 or 7 keys. So for example, if you have 7 locks and each lock opens with 7 keys, you need 49 keys to open that lock. Excepting one particular set, all the keys are available. They have never opened it. It is still there in the Chettiar Madam. Bogal Street, opposite Spence Building in Rangoon. We've been in Rangoon. It's in Mughal Street. Thank you. Of course, Madras is the costliest. Next is Coimbatore. Third is Madurai. Fourth is Karaikal. Only then Salem. Even Ooty is cheaper than Karaikal. Even Ooty is cheaper than Karaikal because the distinct area is less. Number 2, Kui Kanaka வந்து 1 year முன்னாடி செட் கணக்கா மாத்திட்டாங்க. Till 1 year ago, it was all Kui Kanaka. It is all being changed to the set because per square foot there is money. 1 year old.
We are sitting here. Immediate
Only Eric Segal can say, to love is never to say you're sorry. If you're going to be sorry, it is self-sacrifice, self-pity. There's nothing called sorry. And the world's biggest liar is not the man who says, the check is in the mail. The world's biggest liar is the person who says, I have never made a mistake. Whatever you do, it's a new experience. Now, I got one full CD of the things I have eaten. That itself is an experience. But for some people, they may not be fully palatable. Okay, on eating, I'll introduce a very interesting thing. My wife is a vegetarian who does not eat eggs, mushrooms, or meat. And she won't even touch it. So there is a place called the Carnivore, a restaurant. There are two places, one in Johannesburg, the other in Nairobi. It's owned by an Afrikaner couple, that is Dutch African breed. They buy legal meat from around the world. Australia, kangaroos are a pest. Kangaroos are killed because kangaroos are a pest like rabbits. Botswana culls 50,000 elephants a year to maintain population and sex ratio. Because the conservation-wise, south of Africa, it's not South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Swaziland, and South Africa have done the best conservation of animals in the world. The reason is they have licensed breeding centers. For example, in Africa, you can have a rhino farm. You can breed rhinos and they can run in the wild. You can charge a customer to come and shoot a rhino for $10. But if he kills the rhino, he has to pay $500. And the product is the owners give it to the government. Even culling is legal. So this couple buys all the meat. They search the world for all types of meat. So I always wanted to go and have a dinner there. You can't go into carnivore restaurant just like that. Just Google out carnivore, the carnivore. You'll get their website also. So I decided to go there from Johannesburg. You can't just enter that restaurant. They prefer that you call and find out about them. You don't have an automated voice machine. A person attends to your phone. They tell you, this was built like a Maasai village. All the staff wear Maasai warrior uniform, tribal dresses. The chief is dressed like a Maasai tribal chief. Every table will have a lazy Sally. The highest is the spiciest, the lowest is the least spiciest. The whole place will be smoky. You have a huge open hearth fire with a chain going around it, with the carcasses of different animals and birds. At any given time, carnivore promises you 6 of the following animals. Elephant, giraffe, zebra, kudu. Kudu is the tallest standing deer in the world. Antelope, impala, hippopotamus, rhinoceros, you name it, he has got it. But at any given time, 6 to 7 of these meats will be ready. So both of us were there with some friends. And we all sit down at the table. You have to pay 60 rands per person. Eat as much as you want. There will be a flag on the table lying down. You mustn't use certain words like, get me the check. Because there is no check. You already paid to enter. Number 2, I have finished. No, 24 hours they are willing to serve you. You can sit and eat for 24 hours. Blue Diamond is a continuation of money. And this flag is lying on the table. Then the steward comes and asks you, what's your drink, sir? You have to pay for your alcohol. Even that is paid before the service is given. So that you need not wait for any man to pay the bill and leave. Then he comes around and says, at this moment, sir, the camel is ready, the ostrich is ready, the zebra is ready, the elephant is ready. Okay, I'll have a piece of zebra and a piece of elephant. Which part would you like, sir? Hand, flank, ribs, thigh, trunk? I will have an elephant trunk. What about zebra, sir? Okay, get me a rib steak. He goes there and takes the order around the table, and he will come with the meat that you have ordered in a spear, like this. then he stands over your plate like this beside you. From his quiver, you remove a knife and carve the amount of meat that you want. Then he goes to the next person. He went round once, came back, filled us rum again, second round, took the money for the rum. Suddenly he looked at Shamla and said, "But madam, I see that you place no order. Why?" She said, "I am vegetarian." I said, "What?" "I am vegetarian." "What does it mean, madam?" He didn't know what a vegetarian was. She said, "I don't take mushrooms, I don't take meat, I don't take eggs." "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go check with my chef what he can give you without meat, without mushrooms and without eggs." He very apologetically came back and told her, "Madam, my chef knows only to make pancake and diced vegetable in coconut cream." So my wife said, "If that is available, that is all you have to bring. You can't get me anything else. Anyway, I have to eat something. Get me that." Kondu kuduthaga appam aviyal. A lady from Durban who came to that hotel, it's called Whiskey Hills Hotel. That's where the carnivore restaurant is. Taught this cook how to make an Indian dish. And that's the only dish she knew. So she wrote, this name is appam, this name is aviyal. So for a long time, in the menu card which you'll see on the website, it will always say, courtesy Shamla AG, Madras, India. Thank you. So talking of opposition in things, I've got a wife who has survived for 35 years with a person like me, and as a vegetarian I've taken her cross country across Africa without mobile phone, without GPS locators, without a guide, with Syntex stand fitted on to the top of Toyota 4x4 in the outbacks, and for 2 months she lived a wonderful life on 2 very important things, potato and bread.
Now I think my request is, Swaminathan sir, it's a request to you. Why don't we have a 3 days symposium in future? Any one of these months, inviting AG to talk up. So everybody is so much interested to listen. So we'll have a 3 days conference on AG's experience.
ஒரே ஒரு சின்ன இது சவுத் ஈஸ்ட் நார்த் ஈஸ்ட் இந்த ஆப்பிரிக்காவில் என்னமோ அண்ணா நகருக்கு போறோம் சேத்பட்டுக்கு போற மாதிரி ஏதோ அது பிடி இந்த இதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு. ஒண்ணு ஏதோ வீதி எல்லாம் கூட ஏதோ சொல்ற மாதிரி.
I would suggest if you are going to be a traveler or a tourist, the difference is a tourist looks at the weather chart, a traveler just goes. People go to Ooty and Kodaikanal. The northeast, the temperature in April and May is 10 degrees to 19 degrees. That is where you should go. And it is not expensive at all. It will take you 3 lifetimes to see India. And India is not metropolitan towns. It is in the small places that you see the real India.
அவருக்கு அவருடைய அனுபவம் எல்லாம் நமக்கு ரொம்ப புது அனுபவமா இருக்கு. எனக்கு எஜியை பார்த்ததுல இருந்து எனக்கு ஒரு ஆசை, எல்லாருக்கும் இவருடைய சந்தோஷத்தை நம்மளும் பகிர்ந்துக்கணும். நம்ம ஒருத்தர் இது இந்த மாதிரி இடத்துல போக முடியாது, இந்த சான்சஸ் இல்ல. இல்ல போகலாம், போக மாட்டோம். இதுல என்ன, இவர் மாதிரி இருக்கவங்களை பார்த்ததுக்கு அப்புறமாவது 4 பேருக்கு போகணும் தோணும் இல்லையா, அதுக்காகத்தான் இந்த இது பண்ணது. ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ்.
You need not go all the way to the northeast. Inside Tamil Nadu, 100 kilometers from Madras, there are wonderful places. Excepting the ASI and a person like Swaminathan, no one will know it is existing. Wonderful places are there.
I know it's total working.
I would like it to be used for any charity purposes, whichever association.
கொடுக்கும் போதே கொஞ்சம் கிஃப்ட் தெரியுங்க.
Thank you.
இது ரொம்ப ஒரு புது அனுபவம். இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கூட நிறைய பேர் வந்திருந்தாங்க.